All right, everyone. Hey, coming off of the wettest month on record, potentially, we're going to hit on some more drainage here today and talk about some of the problems, the most common problems, some of the solutions that we can have to make sure that your drainage issue doesn't continue to keep happening. So hey, let's go ahead and let's just be real for a quick second. Again, as I mentioned in the past, if water is not draining away from your home property, it's not just a puddle problem. It's essentially going to be like a foundational problem in the making. It is one of those things where standing water then can lead to a whole multitude of different problems, whether that be basement leaks, mold, dead grass even, and really a lot of just structural, costly damage repairs. And so most of the time when we think about all of these issues, homeowners really aren't even aware of it until the problem's really just too late. So today what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be breaking down how to fix some of these drainage issues around your property, the signs to really look out for, and then also some of the most common problems and the smartest solutions, which I may have just overlapped that here a little bit, but whatever. But really some of the most common issues as well as the most smartest solutions that actually work. So let's go ahead and jump into that here right now. So hey, if you're constantly seeing water pool around your home after it rains, or worse, you've got soggy spots in the yard that really just never seem to dry up, whether it is 24, 48, 72, 96 hours after the fact, you're gonna have some sort of drainage issue, right? So when we think about it, drainage issues, they're gonna be all around us. But there's really three main things that I look at. Is that, for one, is your drainage issue broken? Is there completely missing essentially, or does the drainage that's already on the property, does it just really suck? So we have to look into all of those things day after day to figure out what's going on. So really step one in the problem here is that we have to also focus on identifying the problem before we can really create a solution. So a suggestion for all of our clients is that if you're walking around your property during a storm, be safe, but generally after a storm, walk around your property and look for some of the common things that do pop up during the course of a rainstorm if you have drainage issues. So for one, it's going to be that water pooling against your house. Is it right next to it? Is it pooling out in the yard? Whatever it may be. Is it sloping down? Look for areas that may have been washed away, such as your mulch beds or your soil beds, whatever it may be, or even rock. Heavy downpours can cause a lot of water, even push small rock to a different direction as well too. Another thing to look at is that, if you've got the standing water that's lasting hours and hours and hours, days after the rainstorm comes in, you're going to have a major issue as well too. And then one of the most simplistic things here is that, checking your downspouts. Do you have water pouring right out at the base of your foundation, or your downspouts clogged and then they're just overflowing because they can't take on any more water? These are all going to be different red flags for drainage issues around your property. So again, to highlight, you want water to be able to be moving away from your property, not towards it. And so really the big thing here is that you want to take action before it's too late, before you have a lot of costly repairs. So here, one of the simple things you can do is, for one, check your gutters and also your downspouts. This is really going to be the low hanging fruit of basically your property inspection. Any sort of clogged gutters that may overflow and send water directly down your foundation into your siding, that's going to be a huge thing, because if you've got leaves in there, it's just spilling right over, sliding down the side, and again, going straight into the foundation, which is one thing that you just don't want to happen. So make sure that your downspouts are pushing water at least 10 feet at a minimum away from the property, but also make sure that the slope is not there as well too, which I'll talk more about that here in a second. So if you don't have enough length on your downspouts that are coming from your gutters, a couple of recommendations here is that, add some downspout extenders, or consider a buried drain pipe system, whether it's using corrugated pipe or PVC. All those can be basically a solution to your problem. Another area to look at here is going to be sloping the soil away from the property, which I briefly mentioned that a few minutes ago. Your lawn and landscape should slope away from the property, not towards it. Really, so what that means is that your soil should drop about 6 inches over the course of the first 10 feet coming off of your property. If it doesn't, that means that water is going to be really just heading straight to your basement or your crawl space. So to help this, one of the things that you can do is use clean fill dirt to build up low spots, then top it off with a thin layer of topsoil, and then for me, it's going to be sod. Seed will get washed away in those areas. So just laying sod down will give you the instant gratification of it being completed already, but also not having to worry about the seed getting washed away or picked up by birds as well too. So when we think about all of these actions, there's a few more that we're going to cover. And the next one is, installing a French drain or even just a trench drain. So if you do have water pooling, it's going to be time to install a drainage system, right? So when we look at a couple different types of drains, we'll hit on the French drain, which the French drain is essentially a gravel-filled trench with a perforated pipe at the bottom. And this collects the water and then will then redirect it underground away from your problem areas. Then if you look at what we call a trench drain, or also known as a channel drain, this is going to be ideal for areas such as driveways, patios, or along walkways where the surface runoff really needs to be quickly captured and redirected, much different than being on turf. So both of these options, either the French drain or the trench drain, again also known as the channel drain, both of those are options that are permanent, effective solutions for yards that will have chronic drainage issues. Another thing to look at here can be the solution of a dry creek bed or dry swales for landscape drainage. And if you really want to turn an issue into some sort of feature, this would be the way to do it. So a dry creek bed or a swale, it's more of like a natural looking shallow trench that is aligned with rocks that's going to allow water to flow through the landscape without eroding your yard or causing a massive muddy mess when your dogs run through it. So this is going to be one of those functional fixes and really a cool visual upgrade, especially when you pair it with some native plants or ornamental grasses. Another feature / solution for drainage issues is going to be like a sump pump or a curtain drain. Really, these are going to be more so for like the heavy duty jobs. So if water is making really it into your basement or your crawl space, you may need to install a sump pump to actively remove the water and direct it towards a safe drainage area. Again, the important thing here is getting it off of your property or away from your property essentially. So a curtain drain is going to be similar to a French drain, but it is installed uphill from a problem area to then intercept the groundwater before it gets too close. So these solutions are often paired with professional help, right? And it's going to be worth the investment if the issue is big enough to cause structural concerns. So for all the drainage issues that are out there, don't wait until the water damage shows up inside of your home. Go ahead, fix the problem at the source. If you're noticing a lot of soggy patches, shifting soil, signs of erosion, focus on getting the action taken now. That way you don't have to deal with the issue later on. Because think about it this way, drainage issues, they don't fix themselves. And so essentially you want to get it done before you're having to dump a whole ton of money into other problems that the issues are causing.